Welcome back, everybody. The Fake Sports League is here. We've got a lot of familiar faces, a lot of change-ups in the off-season, the biggest of which, 4 additional expansion teams. The first of which, the Flame, who will be taking on the Knights today. We got Los Lobos taking on the Phantoms, the Red Pandas hosting the Frogs, and the Rebels, who will be on the road against the Dragons. With these expansion teams, we had an expansion draft where teams could franchise tag their best players and draft out the rest of their rosters. In addition to this, all teams drafted out their new rookies, and there was plenty of trades to go around this offseason. So if there's a lot of different looking rosters today, we'll walk you through it in each and every matchup. But make sure you are plugged in to the Discord for any and all player trades, news, or deadlines. Link to that in the description below. If you missed out on the draft, we have a full draft video and highlights on the page, so make sure you check that out and get caught up on all things FSL. That's enough for me. We got games to be played, and the first of which is going to start out in Knights Stadium. Knights led by the Offensive Player of the Year, Quinn McHugh, but just watch out here. Benny Bronk, the Defensive Player of the Year, joins the Knights. They have a 1-2 combo, probably the best offensive-defensive starter combo in the league. And they take on the Flame, who's headed by Rogelio Gil after the trade of the Tide. As always, 45 seconds on the clock, starting now. And Lee Cho scores the first point here for the Knights, but it's right back at him with Gary Black on the Flame. Jorge Silva, the rookie, gets it back to him, but Quinn McHugh reclaims the lead, and Benny Bronk takes it back from him. But the first rounder, Kevin Welsh, gets it right back for the Flame. Flame with the possession here. Can they capitalize on it? It will be Alan Norman who scores for the Flame and ties this game up. Alan Norman now takes the lead, and Elijah Ford gets in on the action. It's a tie game. 3-4 now. Gary Black with it, and Quinn McHugh to tie it 4-4. 4-5 now. Gary Black, but it's Quinn McHugh and Gary Black going back and forth. 5-6. 6-6 with 2 seconds remaining. Can we see overtime? Yes, we can. 4 points for Gary Black today, but it's 2 turnovers from Benny Bronk and 3 points from Quinn McHugh that keeps us into overtime. It is 6-6, and the Knights with the possession. And Warren Becker takes it away. This Flame defense firing on all cylinders, but Quinn McHugh is the first to score in overtime here. Elijah Ford for the biggest lead of the night, 8-7. Alan Norman and Lee Cho keeps it at arm's reach. Gary Black doing everything he can for this team, but Elijah Ford, the rookie, ends the game 10-8, and it's a new league record of 5 turnovers from Benny Bronk. Rogelio Gil could not get anything going against this Knights defense, and that's a potential 5 points Rogelio Gil could have had taken away by Benny Bronk. I mean, this is why he's the Defensive Player of the Year. Quinn McHugh with another stunning performance. This Knights team is going to be nasty to face this season. Great to see some action from the rookies here, but it will be Benny Bronk's performance. The ability to shut down the #1 player on this Flames offense is the reason that the Knights came out with the victory in overtime. Next up, we got Tide versus Comets. Tide coming off a winless season, hoping to turn some things around. Made a lot of moves, a lot of trades. 3 first-round picks in Audrey Becker, Courtney Fowler, and Brett Romero, taking on the offensive tandem of Max Adams and Jaden Little. Both these teams looking very different. Let's see how they'll compete against each other today. And Doug Powers is first on the board, 1-0, 1-1 now. Max Adams, the rookie, scores for Comets. Darren Arnold with the turnover gives the possession back to the Tide. Can they capitalize? No, it will be Max Adams to score, but Brett Romero gets in on the action, 2-2. Darren Arnold, the veteran, with a second turnover here, but Toby Wheeler picks off Lamar Brown, 2-2, with 2 turnovers for Toby Wheeler and 2 turnovers for Darren Arnold. Lamar Brown on the board now, 3-2, 3-3. Ray Sparks ties it up, but Lamar Brown 4-3 to tie with the lead, tied back up by Max Adams 4-4. Elvin Noriga takes it back, and Jaden Little finishes 4-5, 3 seconds, 5-5. Will we see a second overtime? No, it will be finished with a buzzer beater from Jaden Little. 5-6, and the Comets win the game. A pretty even spread here, 3 points apiece from the rookies Lamar Brown and Max Adams. The Tide are hoping for a little bit more from their defensive first-rounders Audrey Becker and Courtney Fowler. I know it's not what Tide fans want to see in Week 1, but this Comets team does look to be on a different level than they were last year. It's time now for our second expansion team matchup. It's Los Lobos at home taking on the Phantoms. Los Lobos led by a couple of rookies, Rolando Johnson and Adrian Mitchell, both top 5 draft picks in the first round of this draft. But the Phantoms are one of the best teams in the FSL, just coming off a championship appearance. Lots of experience in this team. This is not going to be an easy matchup for the newcomers. And let's kick this off. Royal Johnston with Los Lobos gets the first point of the game, but Octavio Brin hits it right back to him. Rolando Johnson into the fold now, 2-1. Stephon Bain with the turnover, but Bill Roy, the Phantoms rookie, gets the turnover here. Chet Linder and Bill Roy back-to-back. The rookie's making a name for himself for the Phantoms. But Adrian Mitchell extends the lead out now, 3-1, 3-2. Taylor Barker, the rookie, but Rolando Johnson, 4-2, 4-3 now. And Bill Roy now snacks his third turnover in his professional debut. 4-4, and the Phantoms rookies are firing on all cylinders now. Bill Roy with an incredible performance here. 5 seconds remain. Another close matchup here. Can we see overtime? 2 seconds, 1 second, and Octavio Brin finishes it out. The Phantoms today, led by their rookies, 4 turnovers for Bill Roy, 3 points for Taylor Barker. And let me tell you, this Lobos offense is high-powered. It's amazing that the Phantoms can hold them to 4 today. And there might be talks of a second championship to the graveyard already. Amazing what this Phantom staff was able to pull out of the back end of the draft. It's time now for our third expansion team, the Red Pandas, taking on the Frogs today. Both these teams trading away their first-round picks. Todd Ross from the Red Pandas and Ronnie Lamb from the Frogs, their top-round picks. Frogs also without Benny Bronk today after the trade. DeAndre Boyd will be stepping up to that #1 defense position for him. And it's time to see what these two teams are made of. 45 on the clock and a dance to start. Alexander Burke with the first point of the game, and Ronnie Lamb, the rookie, gets it right back to the Frogs. But Cornelius Gross with the turnover, and it's already a defensive battle. Alexander Burke puts his second up for the Frogs. Can the Red Pandas get on the board here? And it will take a turnover from Cornelius Gross and a score from Wiley Little, but it's 1-3 already. Drew Park on the board now for the Frogs, 2-3. This Red Pandas defense is churning, trying to get back into the game. They're only down 1 point, but these defenses are impenetrable today. DeAndre Boyd with his second turnover. And Joey Spencer ties the game with 5 seconds remaining. Ronnie Lamb gives the Frogs the possession. Can they finish? Yes. Who else but Drew Park with the buzzer beater to send the Frogs into the win column. 3-4, and these are looking like 2 defensive teams already this year. Cornelius Gross with 3 turnovers in this game. DeAndre Boyd and Ronnie Lamb, 2 turnovers apiece. It's time now for the Dragons to host our 4th and final expansion team in the Rebels today. The matchup to watch today is going to be rookie Philip Bayless up against this veteran Tobias Fonseca on this Dragons defense. A lot of familiar faces on this Dragons squad, but joined by Christopher Shaw and Dwayne Wells, the rookies who have claimed their roster spots after training camp. Going up against a very experienced defense on this Rebel squad, headed by Boris McLean and Stefan Fitzsimmons. 45 on the clock. And we start off hot with Francesco Sage from the Dragons getting the first score on the board. It's 1-0, and Luther Vasquez returns the favor for the Rebels, but it's 2-1 now. 2-2, Keith Fraley and Luther going back and forth. Boris McLean with the first turnover of the season. And the rookie gets a piece of the action. The Dragons offense firing on all cylinders. Keith Fraley gets it again, 4-3 now. 4-4, Courtney May has something to say about it. 15 seconds remaining, and Philip Bayless takes the lead. Back to a tied game with 10 seconds on the clock. Dragons need their defense to step up here, but it's the offense that gets them on the board again. 6-7, the largest lead of the night, and that will finish the game. 2 high-powered offenses, but it will be Keith Fraley and the Dragons to close it out at home. A very clean game from both offenses, only 2 turnovers total in this entire matchup, but it will be the Dragons today that were just that much better. 7-6, the Dragons start the season 1-0, and I have a feeling you're going to be hearing a lot about both of these teams over the course of the season. Meet us now at the Tower. It is time for the game of the week. The Season 3 FSL champions, Mystics, take on one of the greatest juggernauts in the FSL and the Sharks. I know a lot of us have been looking forward to this matchup. It's Percy Willis and Burl Packer taking on Mr. MVP Marcus Evans and Solbar. When you look at the talent across the board from both of these rosters, it is just incredible, and both of them have done nothing but reload here in the draft. Shabang Bang Richardson III and Rock Bumble getting their shot with the first start of the season. And we start off with anticipation. Alki is the first one to get on the board for the Sharks. 0-1, 1-1. Percy Willis now with fresh legs, returned by Alki, and Solbar gets it back to the Sharks. 1-3 now. The Sharks take an early lead. Shabang Bang Richardson III, and the champions will have to play from behind at home. 2-3 now. Carlos Gutierrez, but 2-4. Marcus Evans, Mr. MVP, scores for the Sharks here. 2-5. Could this game get out of hand? 2-6. Alki having himself a night. Not a single turnover against this Sharks offense yet. 3-7 with 7 seconds. 3-8. This game has gotten out of hand real fast. We finished 4-9, a hat trick for every single player on this Sharks offense, and a complete dominance to start the season. Keep in mind, this is the reigning FSL champion Mystics team at home. With the addition of first-rounder Shabang Bang Richardson III, this Sharks offense might be the best we have ever seen. Not even to mention the 2-turnover performance from Solbar today. What a start to the season. Let's take a look at these standings here. Now, the playoff picture looks a little bit different this season. There are 12 teams, but there will remain 6 teams in the playoffs. The top 2 teams from each conference will receive a spot in the playoffs, and then the next 2 at large will receive the final 2 spots. The number 1 from each conference will receive a bye. And here's your first look at the ISC. Dragons and Frogs on top, Flame Tide, Mystics, and Los Lobos looking for their first win. And now a look over at the FSC. Sharks, Comets, Phantoms, and Knights with their first win, and not one win from any of our 4 expansion teams yet. I gotta say, the Sharks are gonna be the team to beat in the FSL this season. At least that's what it appears after week 1. We are posting daily fake sports games right here on YouTube. Game 2, same time, same place tomorrow. Make sure you tap into the FSL Discord, link in the description below, to hang out, talk trash with your rivals, get in on games and events, and stay updated on all player injury updates and league news. That's all for me today. Let me know how you're feeling about your team starting off the first game in the comments below. This has been an official broadcast of the FSL.